The men of our generation are deciding to become entrepreneurs. They watched my last video, read MJ Demarco, and so they've decided to start a business. But what will their business be? They hop onto YouTube and get a lot of ideas. Dropshipping is all the rage now and it looks so fucking easy. All they have to do is go into Alibaba and find like a great product that's selling for cheap and flip it on eBay. So they head on to Alibaba, they find this bunk bed that's selling for £50, right? They can flip that for £200 on eBay. So they stick it on, they make their advert and they go to bed excited. Tomorrow morning they're going to wake up millionaires. So they get out of their bed at 6 in the morning, they are so fucking gassed, and they go to their computer and there is nothing. Not a single impression, not a single view, let alone a fucking sale. So they think, fuck this, right? Drop shipping is for complete losers. So they go back onto YouTube. Agency. Agency is the best way to do this. This cycle continues. It continues for numerous businesses until they sit there and they think, do you know what? This is more fucking work than my job was. So they go back to that because that seems so easy to them now. But men of our tribe are different. We know better than to fall for these scams. We want to create businesses aligned with our purposes, ones that excite us, ones where the work doesn't really feel like work. The men of our tribe think for hours. They come up with a business idea that will be gold, and then they put it into action. It doesn't succeed at first, but that's okay because the process is the dream, not the end goal. 5 years down the line, they're millionaires. In 10 years, they never have to work a day of their lives again. Which one do you want to be, bro? If you can watch this video from start to end without going to the suggested videos or scrolling down to the comments, then I can teach you how to come up with a business idea you can stick with. How to come up with an idea that's aligned with your purpose and your goals in life. I've just finished reading MJ Demarco's book, The Great Rat Race Escape. If you've not read it already, go over there and read it. That's where a lot of these ideas are coming from. And in yesterday's video, we covered the unscripting process. We covered how you change your beliefs to ones of slavery to ones of freedom. In today's video, I'm going to teach you the ways to decide on the business idea, to decide on the vehicle that will get you to that freedom. The first thing I want everyone to do is get out a piece of paper, and you're going to need a few for this video, so just get out a few pieces of paper and a pen and actually do this. Just write it on a fucking piece of paper, and at the top of it, write down 10 years. Now under this, I want you to write out your dream, where you would love to be in 10 years from now. If money didn't exist, where would you want to be? Be extremely specific. Where would you want to be living? Who would you want to be living with? What car would you be driving? Be very specific about what your dream life looks like, where you want to be 10 years from now. Okay, so now you have your dream, your vision for 10 years from now. But it seems impossible, right? How do you get there? And the answer is a business. First of all, you can't fall for the traps, right? People these days, when they decide to go into this kind of thing, are very event-oriented, not process-oriented. So the difference here is quite simple. Basically, if you're an event-oriented person, you're motivated by events. You're motivated by end goals. So you see the money. You see, I want to get £10,000 this month. You're completely event driven. But a person who's process oriented is a person whose process is the dream. The work for the business is their dream. The work for the business is their purpose, and the work for their business is what gets them up every morning. As a result, these event-minded people fall into traps. They go onto YouTube, like the guy in our first example, and they decide to go into drop shipping, they decide to go into agency, they decide to like print a meme on a fucking t-shirt and try and sell that on an Etsy store. They go to these business ideas that they don't have any purpose for, they don't have a passion for, not a passion necessarily, but they don't align with their life purpose. Next, your business needs to be one that has the potential for an exponential return on the time that you invest. There's a big idea in the book, and it's the difference between monomorphic and polymorphic pay. So monomorphic pay is what we're all used to, right? You show up to a job, you work for X amount of hours, and thus you get paid this much. Monomorphic pay is when you get paid by the hour. Maybe you get paid by the year. Polymorphic pay, on the other hand, is where the time works for you, where you have a product released, where you've invested a certain amount of initial time, but after that, the product does all the selling by itself. It is the book that you publish that earns royalties 10 years down the line. The t-shirt that's so well crafted that 5 years from now it is still selling. So I use my boss as an example for this, right? I work at a restaurant. So he's a chef. He got famous off a TV show and he kind of wanted to start up a business. So he started a restaurant. But here's the thing, is his business didn't free him. Because yeah, he had some sort of passion for cooking. By the way, passion and purpose aren't the same thing. We'll get onto that. But the business wasn't scalable. There was no way he could earn polymorphic pay on a business like that. Because the thing is however big he gets, however many people are flying in from all over the fucking world to eat the food that he is making, At the end of the day, he only has a certain amount of seats that he can fill each night, and so a certain amount of money. He is getting paid by the hour. A business does not necessarily free you. A business that makes polymorphic returns does. Next, your business needs to be aligned with your purpose. That is the only way you will ever actually persevere to achieve it. Do you remember that process versus event oriented thing? If you have a purposeful business, it is the process. You become process oriented, and the process is what brings you the joy. You are living the dream already. So you need to find your purpose first. And we've made a lot of videos on this. Go and watch my video on Ikigai, on how to find your life's purpose, to try and discover this. But anyway, it could be anything. Once you have that, you need to align your business to that. So maybe your purpose in life is saving the environment, improving mental health, stopping fast fashion, stopping animal cruelty. Find your purpose and align your business to that goal. Next, you need to ask yourself what value you can provide. You need to find a value skew that you can optimize inside of your sphere of business that provides value over the other businesses in it. The example the book uses is a soup. So the two characters in it, they decide to make a soup business, right? And their competitors all also make soup. But the one thing they realize is that there are no good vegan soup options. So the two main characters decide they're going to start making a vegan soup. So there you go, their value skews now. And number one, the soup is vegan, it is plant-based. And number two, their value skew is that it actually tastes good. You don't necessarily need something new. No one is asking you to reinvent the wheel here. All you need is to be able to provide relative value over your competitors. So with the soup example, right? People are going to buy soup. No one's going to stop buying soup. And so there's no point reinventing some new kind of food. Take the soup and merely be better than all your competitors at what you're doing. That is how you succeed. To come up with these ideas, you need to properly engage in the market that you're trying to introduce your product into. So say you really want to make a vegan soup, right? You need to engage yourself in the vegan market. You need to go into the stores, find out what is good, what isn't good, try them all, see which ones taste nice, see where your competition is. Engage fully in the area of business you're trying to go into so that you can come up with ways to exploit value skews. No one came up with a great idea while scrolling through TikTok on their phone. Then you need to start using the language of opportunity, right? So inside of your business, think about when people use the words, I wish X, or I hate Y, or I love Z. These are your value skews. When people are saying something consistently that they don't see in the market already, that is the value skew that you need to exploit. Now you've got your area of business. It's aligned completely with your purpose, and you have the somewhat makings of a value skew. The product is starting to come into reality. But now you need to ask yourself, does the business make sense? So break down sense, and you need to ask if your idea makes sense. So sense is C-E-N-T-S, by the way. I'm not just saying sense really weirdly. So C is control. It is how much control do you have over the market that you're going into. So say you want to become a book publisher, but you're selling all your books on Amazon. If they pull the plug on you, right, if they delete your account, your business is gone in an instant. The next step is entry, and it basically says how hard is it to enter the business you're trying to pursue. Because if it's really easy, there's going to be a lot of people doing it and a lot of competition. That's why things like dropshipping, things like agency don't really work. If there is a YouTube video telling you step by step exactly how to make a business out of that thing, it will not succeed because the barrier for entry is too low. There are too many people who can jump straight into it and become successful. Writing, for example, has a much higher barrier of entry. You need to get good at writing. You need to make readable content. You need to find out how to publish it. And so there is more scope for success within that. Next is need, and this goes back to the value skews, but does your idea provide value? Do people need it? Does it provide relative value over your competitors? Next is time. Does your business provide polymorphic or monomorphic pay? It's all well and good to start a restaurant, right? But you will just become enslaved to that restaurant. You need to have a business idea that creates pay that works when you're not working. The last one is scale. You need to ask yourself, is this thing scalable? Because say you come up with a great product, right, but you can only sell it to people living within a 50-mile radius of your house. There is no scale there. You can't go anywhere, and so it'll never achieve the scale it needs for you to truly escape. So ask yourself those, right? Does the business make sense? Control, entry, need, time, scalability. Does it make sense? And if it does, great. If it doesn't, come up with a new idea. It's not that hard. But here's the thing as well, is it might not completely make sense at first. So especially the C aspect of it. A lot of things aren't going to have complete control when you begin them. Anything you're trying to sell will need to be sold in certain stores, certain online shops. Your advertising will need to go through certain platforms owned by certain people. Control comes later, but that's the thing, is a few of them in sense. It doesn't need to match every single one of the sense criteria, but if it matches 3, then it's probably good to go. The rest of them will come in time. These are the questions you need to ask yourself. What is your life's purpose? What business can you create that aligns with that purpose? What value skew can you provide inside of that market that will make people choose your product over other people's? And finally, does the business make sense, or are you just creating a new job for yourself? So get out a piece of paper and answer those questions. And if you can answer all of them properly, then you will come up with a business idea that you can take forward, one that will act as your vehicle towards freedom. Now remember that 10-year dream we made at the beginning? Now that you have your business idea, you need to turn that into a plan. The book calls it a planacy, right? Something that goes from a fantasy into a plan. So the next step of the planacy is underneath where you wrote your 10-year goal, write 5 years. And I want you to write down again in extreme detail where you want to be in 5 years that will bring you halfway towards your 10-year plan. So say your goal in 10 years is to have made £100,000 a month. Your 5-year goal should be to make £50,000 a month. Just write down all the things that you want to achieve by 5 years that bring you halfway towards your 10-year goal. Now next, on a new piece of paper or the same one, I don't know where it'll fit, but you need to write 1 year down. And here you need to write down your goals and aspirations that you want to have achieved by this time next year. And these are basically laying the groundworks for your 5-year plan. So write down all the things that you need to have achieved so that the next 4 years you can move consistently towards your 5-year goal. And then last, get a new piece of paper, because you're going to be changing this one a lot, and write down 1 month at the top. This list is the things you need to be doing this month. The things that by next month you need to have completed in order for your 1-year plan to ever make fruition. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like and a comment. You'll find those right below the subscribe button. And join the Discord. It's a great place where you can meet men just like yourself who are trying to better themselves, trying to start a business, whatever. Come over there, talk to me and the other guys about your dreams, your aspirations, your struggles, what's going wrong. Also, recently I've introduced a new calling platform. So fill in the application form in the description and book your free 15-minute call with me. It's completely free, completely individual, one-to-one, completely confidential. You can go in there and ask me anything you want, ask for all the advice you need. Go and book your appointment right now. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Manifest excellence. Goodbye.